Hi there. I'm out in the great outdoors for this segment. It's only the second time I've tried this. The wall behind me, by the way, just on the other side of that wall is the bird feeder that you may have seen in my last video. My last video was about Micro Four Thirds and about how I was gravitating more towards Micro Four Thirds than I was to my DSLRs. And I thought that might need a little more clarification. First of all, as I said before, things like focus by wire are very irritating. That's one of the aspects of my mirrorless system that probably bothers me the most. It makes focusing difficult when there is something in the way. Like shooting through a fence with my DSLR is never an issue. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle with my mirrorless camera because basically I have to switch to manual focus or it will not go beyond that fence. Little things like not having positive stops for the infinity point is also somewhat frustrating when one is trying to do something like astrophotography and really can't get a clear focus on anything. These are relatively minor though. The battery issue for me is not an issue. I have lots of batteries. I've never really run out of batteries. I'm very pleased with the video. I am not a videographer. I do not need 4K. I do not need log profiles that allow me to grade my video afterwards. As you can see, some of my videos have been pretty sloppy in that regard. But I'm only trying to get an idea across. I'm not trying to show off how well I can do a video. The really good videographers who have very successful channels and are very good at what they do, like the Peter McKinnons of the world, these are people that have spent a lot of time now at the videos. This is now their primary goal. This is their way of making a living in many cases. The result is that they have practiced enough that they have the skills required. Because, let's face it, I'm not a big fan of the term talent. I really know that just about anybody who is willing to put the effort into something, unless it's something that they are physically incapable of doing, then they should be able to eventually excel at it if they stick to it. And that's as true of photography as anything else. Cartier-Bresson, he had a background in painting and art before he got into photography, and he carried that over. He talked about his images as being based on geometry, so it was the composition that was big to him, and the minor technical details were just that, minor. In his day, he used a camera that was probably looked down upon just as much as many people now look down upon Micro Four Thirds. The fact is that 35mm format, when Cartier-Bresson started in the late 1920s, early 1930s, that was considered a miniature format. That was the teeny-weeny little format. Everybody was using at least what we would now consider medium format, and most serious photographers were using at least a 4" by 5" negative. They were using a large format. People like Ansel Adams, for instance, much of his earlier work were done on an 8 by 10 camera. So, you know, many of his prints, smaller prints, are actually just contact prints. There was very little enlargement involved. So 35mm was a miniature format. And now we look at Micro Four Thirds as if it's too small and full frame as if it's the Holy Grail. But all you have to do is go look for Zack Arias's video on what he thought of this whole scenario, and you'll get a real eye-opener. Anyhow, folks, there's not much else I want to say today. I'm glad to see that people are enjoying my videos. I hope that you continue to view them. Give me a like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And, of course, as usual, if you think anybody's going to get anything from this video, be sure to share it. Bye for now. What a day.